talking points throughout the season with Cliftonville. I know they're a team and a management team that you respect. What sort of a game do you expect on Saturday?
Well, we're playing against a quality team that's still fighting for a title, so we expect them to come here most definitely to look for the win. Regardless of I'm sure the fans will have their phones on them and checking results across the league, but managers can't be doing that. So I'm sure Paddy will come here, and I'm sure his team will come here hungry to try and get the win, and we need to be ready for that because we also want the win.
And we're playing now with one eye on European places as well. There are different permutations depending on what happens in the Irish Cup. Have you thought much beyond the game against Cliftonville about who you may or may not play?
No, not at all. We're just looking at the next game, and the playoffs fall where they fall. Obviously, if we get a point on to secure third, then it changes things in terms of home advantage. But we can't think about the Irish Cup. It's that's not for us to worry about. We'll worry about our next opponent after the result next Saturday.
And the IFA have now published a report from the arbitration hearing which saw us removed from the Irish Cup. I have two questions on that. Firstly, what are your thoughts on the outcome?
Well, number one, we have to accept it. And secondly to that, we don't have to agree with it. And we'd state that we don't agree with it. And that's why we believe we had a case. I thought it was necessary to fight what we believe is our case. And unfortunately, it hasn't went with us this time. But that doesn't mean the right to fight shouldn't be there. And the right to fight is for every club in this league, every club in the country. And there are certain things definitely within the IFA processes that definitely need looked at. And one of them is that no club in this country should be limited to challenging based on their inability to pay. And I'm sure that's something that all clubs would agree to, that we should not be held back, any club in this country, by the threat of substantial costs. But we're moving on from that now. I don't want to keep talking about it. We didn't work out for us this time, but we still believe we had valid facts and a legal argument. The arbiter was given information at the hearing that I wish I could share with you now, and she made her decision. So that's it. We have to respect the decision, as we always said we would. If we're in, we're in. We're out, we're out. And we move on.
And a final question on that then is regarding the comment system. So despite the ineligible player showing as available in that system, do we as a club now look at how we manage player eligibility independently of that system for the next season?
Yeah, I mean, we already do to a point. I mean, in terms of yellow cards and red cards, and I keep a database of that myself, because obviously we need to know urgently where we sit. But look, the comment system obviously has issues. We're not the first club, we won't be the last. But I think if you read the judgment that came out today, to imply that the comment system is merely an almanac that collects data is sort of like saying Excel. Microsoft Excel is an almanac that collects data. It is for the basic user, but the minute you put a formula in, it turns into a powerful tool. So I'd like to ask whose responsibility it is to put those parameters and formulas in. And if we could answer that question, then we have a whole different discussion here.
And as we move now towards the last few games of the season, the transfer speculation as usual is beginning to gather a bit of momentum. Do you foresee a busy summer in the transfer window for Glentoran?
I don't know if we'll be as busy as we have been in terms of numbers, but as with any football club, people will go and people will come in. But we know we have a talented squad here, no doubt about that. That hasn't changed, considering the results, how they went in the past 6 to 8 weeks. We have to remember that we lost Luke McCulloch for the season. We lost Marcus Kane for almost the entire season around the same period. We lost Kieran O'Connor around the same period. We lost Shane McCartan around the same period. So we lost substantial quality around September time this season, and Kieran O'Connor never recovered from that. Shane McCartan returned after a few months. Marcus obviously struggled to get back, and Luke McCulloch's out for the season. Those players will all be back, so some of them will be like new signings, and let's see how we finish up in terms of the results, the playoffs. And if we're in Europe, out of Europe, obviously that changes our training schedule and what we potentially could bring in. But look, we're still really comfortable with the squad that we have. We know we have a squad capable of challenging for this title, no doubt about it. We're disappointed that we're not I actually can't believe we're saying the words that we need a point to secure third, because as we all know, 8 weeks ago we walked off the pitch here after playing Newry in joint first and in the semi-final of an Irish Cup. So it's unfortunate how the last 6 to 8 weeks have went, for various reasons, of which we'll probably discuss one day when we watch the movie about the season or read the book about the season. But for various reasons it hasn't went our way, and we'll learn from that, no doubt about that. And we'll be back after these playoffs for next season, raring to go, no doubt about that.